Hello, Supercars in Seconds here with the 2024 McLaren 750S Spider. As you saw from the little video there, I can control the roof with the key here, up or down, which is rather a fun experience. It also has an amazing system that we'll go through when we do the little interior and exterior options called Hot Air Evac. Just a fun little note here, Hot Air Evac. If you've been parked outside a restaurant and your car is nice and warm, too hot inside, you can hit the unlock button, hold it for 3 seconds and let go. It will drop the windows 1 inch and the air conditioning will blow all the hot air out of the car. That's the sort of thing we're going to look at today as we explore this vehicle from front to back. Let's get into the 750S. Note, while we're looking at this amazing car, I wanted to say a thank you to everyone that supported the channel since the start. We just crossed 10,000 subscribers and I'm very proud of that. We've done a great job with the videos. Over 100 videos out there of some pretty exotic and crazy cars. Thanks for subscribing and being a part of the channel. Obviously an evolution of 720. You can see the door looks very similar and so on. It's just that same profile as 720. The difference will be when we get back there in a minute and have a look at the big changes there. She's lighter, she's faster, she's stronger, it's just everything is, the volume has been turned up to 11 on everything. Size-wise, because of the bigger wing and so on, she's now right at 180 inches in length. About 76 inches wide. So let's go up front because she's only 47 inches high. So it's almost twice as wide as it is tall. This view here is just spectacular. You can imagine that coming up behind you in the mirror. You might want to get out of the way, particularly when these little daytime LEDs are on. I'll flash them with the key here and you see them orange there, but they're obviously white in the daytime. The wheels and tires. This is actually a 765 LT wheel. It was called Strike, the design, and it's super dished on the back wheel there, really beautiful. Still the similar size that we had on 720S, the 305 3020 there, and a 245 3519 here. They've made the wheel a little bit smaller so they can raise the side profile of the tire and give her a bit more of a comfortable ride. Of course, the car has the famous hydraulic suspension system. I'm wandering around looking at this crazy metallic color. It looks a bit more blue on the camera. It's very purpley in real life. It's called Tanzanite blue. We have the racing seat, there's the sport seat here in the ember orange. Some people call it the Casper the Ghost seat. It's actually from the McLaren P1 originally. It's a carbon shell that will slide backwards and forwards, but my technicians can unbolt it and move it to 5 or 6 different positions for you if you wanted it move around. Still the aluminum body and all these crazy super formed shapes. This color shows it rather well. It's lovely sculpting there to get around the rear, around that great big rear wheel. This one has the carbon fiber front fenders. I know that because of these beautiful louvers that she has here. They are functional. I got to see a car driving through dust recently, and it comes out through these holes. So it is definitely functional for sure. As before, the headlights all opened up, but it's actually narrowed here about 1 inch from what it was on the 720. And from a distance, that's when you start to see it's a little bit more squinted. I love that. The front splitter's sticking out a little bit further than it was on 720 to equal the great big wing on the back. So let's go back here and have a look what they've done. It is truly incredible. All of this laser cut metal, all chopped around there. That's the view from behind the car again. You know you're following something pretty special. And as we're about to find out when I drive the thing, most cars are following this one. Because she's a Spider, I can't really see the engine. It's underneath this beautiful tonneau cover here. But I can actually order in carbon fiber. It's more expensive than drugs, but it is sometimes worthwhile if you've done all the other carbon options. Let's describe the powertrain to you. So 750S is featuring the 4-litre V8 from the 720, came out in 2017. The big deal with it, it went from single impeller turbos to twin scroll turbos, and there's 2 of them. So you've really got 4 impellers spinning inside the engine under massive pressure, 32 pounds of boost in the car. So incredible pressure in the turbochargers, driving just the rear wheels. I often wonder if they're going to reach a limit of what the rear wheels can actually handle as far as acceleration before they start spinning. The internals are lighter in the engine, so she does spin up quicker. When I rev a 720 engine, it'll go, this engine goes, it's just up and down as quickly as possible because the internals are lighter. It's how they've created some of the extra power. We then have a similar transmission to the 765LT with those shorter gears, meaning the in-gear acceleration second, third and fourth is truly nuts. They're admitting to 740 horsepower. The number on a McLaren would be the PS, the European measurement of horsepower, and 590 pounds of torque, all going to the rear wheels. The big deal, of course, hydraulic suspension and hydraulic steering. We've still got a hydraulic rack. We haven't gone to the electric rack yet. Electric steering is faster, but you lose all the feel. And that's what this very, very special car is all about. The way it makes you feel and the feedback you get back from the road. Incredible paint finish on McLaren cars. Look at that. It's just nuts. The cloud above me and everything is beautiful. That's the hood. So I got the little unlock, lock, and then the front wheel here is a bump. So I'm going to push and hold that. It takes 3 seconds to pop the trunk. There is no second latch. Now, the 2023 and some of the 24 cars are getting what's called the Americas pack here in North America. It includes these tire savers. So if you're going out of town on a longer trip for a month or more, you can put these underneath the tires. You put the McLaren facing forward underneath each tire and just rock the car up on top of these, and it stops the tires getting flat spots. It can really help a lot. This is your car cover, battery tender. In here, there's some charging cables, the owner's manual, all that stuff is in there. In there, you've got a tire inflator kit, and you'll charge your battery with the lithium-ion battery down in there. I have another video on 720 Aero, but just to touch quickly on the aerodynamics, you can see where the air is being forced here, just down there. The 720S used to have a large raised section just here, but it was causing some turbulence at ultra high speed, meaning above 150 miles an hour. This one is much smoother at very, very high speed. Of course, I would never condone that on the road. That would be silly. But on a racetrack where you can really explore the limits of the car, you will feel her being more stable. And frankly, the steering feels even sharper than before. The axle ends are extended out a little bit. Again, so we've had to add this little tiny section here just to push the air around the front of the tire. This one, we're taking the rotating air and sucking it out through here. You can see that groove in the hood there, continuing all the way down into that channel. So think about this for a moment. Most supercars have a big hole in the side. This one doesn't need it. The air going in is going in at a higher level into the engine and turbochargers. This actually stays 10 to 15 degrees cooler on track than the 650S did years ago. So it's really clever. You're not getting any of that warm, turbulent air getting sucked into the motor. The air getting sucked in is above this front wheel. Amazing design. Back at the rear of the car, just one last thing, is this beautiful wing. I'll put my hand on it to give you some scale of how monstrous it is. Again, seems like the 765 LT wing. It is a carbon fiber wing. And it, of course, articulates, powered by the clutch and these great big towers here that are almost solid metal. It moves around for you. This, just so you can see out of the rear view mirror, of course. And so the great big jetting flames that can come out of this exhaust at very high revs on track will be protected and not melt this beautiful wing. Everything about it is just first class. Let's go and have a look inside the car. Driver's eye view inside the car. I'm just going to reach out and grab the door handle here. And as I close that down, it's something you might not even notice. Particularly on the other door over there, you can see there's a storage area just here. You don't even see it. It's really blended in just beautifully. Good for sunglasses, wallet, whatever it might be. Paperwork can go down in there. This one has the carbon fiber window controls, door handle here, window switches here. The blacked out speaker grills on the Bowers & Wilkins audio is rather nice in this performance specification car. So we have the ember orange accent around the sports seat. This is beautiful. There's 2 layers here. The orange down below just looks great. Carbon fiber strip down the door, of course. And then the main driver-centric controls in front of me. Everything's tipped just slightly towards me, even though the passenger can see this very well. So I'm going to push the brake very hard. You have to press the brake hard in a McLaren to switch the car on, because they, even though it's a big carbon ceramic brake, 15.5 inches up front, 15 inches on the rear, they wanted it to feel like a racing steel brake. So it does have a bit more pedal travel than you might be used to in a conventional road car. In most of the earlier McLarens, we had an active button down here or by here, and you would switch the modes just around here for suspension and engine and so on. They've slid those further up, and the air is blowing, so let me just turn that down a bit. The thing's powerful. The controls now are here for this one has a little P on it for powertrain. Fans waking up. I haven't been driving it hard, of course. Down the modes, up the modes. So I'm currently in comfort. As I push the top part here, let's see if we can get both. There we are. I push it and it changes up to sport. Now I get that cylinder cut that we'll discuss now in a minute on the video when I'm driving the car. Pushing it again, it'll go up to track. That changes my display dramatically, giving me rev counter across the top now. We're in neutral, so it's showing 7,000, 8,500 RPM once she's warmed up and we're in track. Up here, suspension. Down the mode, up the mode. So I'll click it, we go from comfort up to sport. Just made the car 35% stiffer. Clicking it again, over 20% stiffer again. A 50% adjustment in the suspension is unheard of in the industry, really. Like in 720, I've got my drive, neutral, reverse here. When I put it into reverse, my backup camera is here. The red line is 18 inches behind the diffuser. Don't let anything cross that. And down in the center console, I have my 360 cameras where I can dedicate the camera to one side of the car. You might be able to see the front tire there moving around, which is rather cool. Let's have a drive. Okay, let's go down into old Batman's corner. Put the windows up to cut down some of the sound. This thing's loud. These new exhausts are incredible. She hasn't done a lot of miles, so I'm not going to launch it. I'm just going to accelerate in automatic in track mode. Wow. All right. A little bit different animal here than the cars I've been driving lately. Holy shit. Let's try these big brakes out. You might see the big wing standing up on the back there. It's something you have to prepare for. Some of the crazy electric cars can come off the line in that sort of similar way, but then they slow down. That's when this thing gets going. It is truly nuts. Transmission, unbelievable response. As I click it here, the second I touch it, it's down in the next ratio. It's almost like it's ahead of what I'm doing. It's very, very predictive. It's a fabulous, fabulous car. Let's come to a stop here. Not breathe again. It's pretty intense. All right. time you're starting to understand what 750 is about, it is an incredibly intense experience. The McLaren Artura is just coming out as a Spider now. We'll have that in the next few days. We'll have a demo, hopefully, of that car soon. And it's incredibly fast. It rockets along like many, many exotic cars today. This one, particularly at the price point, is completely nuts. It is. It's keeping up with many of the hypercars, of course, but at a relatively sensible price. Okay, we're in manual mode. I'm going to go down to my great right-hander here. Jesus Christ. Wing is up. Into third gear here. When you hear those turbos just charge up, it's incredible. What a car. And the snap of that acceleration is just incredible. The road surface change there, it's terrible. It just glides over it with that hydraulic suspension, adjusting separately each wheel constantly. It is an incredibly intense experience. The weird thing about it, change these modes up here back to comfort, and drive it from Florida here up to Atlanta, Georgia, 400 or 500 miles, and the world's pretty good. She'll do 20 to the gallon, and it's an incredibly changing Jekyll and Hyde type car in its performance. The way that the throttle responds when you really catch it, you might have heard it there, the turbo suddenly and it's not gradual. It is an incredible experience. A little bit of lag actually. When you're going really hard, you don't have any lag. When you're cruising along and you just roll into it, a little bit of lag. I actually like lag. It gives you more of an explosive experience. Manufacturers try and engineer it out. I think it's a mistake. The turbo lag, like the earlier 570s and stuff, you'd roll, boom, and it would hit you. And it was quite exhilarating. It's a fabulous brand. Let's take one more walk around the car. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. That's the 2024 750S from McLaren. This thing beats you up. It is violent. It's really exciting, and that's something I think an exotic car needs to be. We're here at Dimmitt, we're Rolls-Royce, Bentley, Aston Martin and McLaren, and all of our cars give a different experience. The 750S gives you something that not many cars can, and that's an unbelievable, smooth, comfortable glide. Start changing modes and it becomes a shaved bear. It is an absolute animal. Thanks for watching the video. Please ask me any questions you have in the comments down below, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks a lot.